Galloway's support through sight loss.
Galloway's Get Active. Upper Roddlesworth Reservoir and woodland.
Okay, good morning everyone. It's James here with Jane from Galloway's, and today we're on a damp and murky morning at the end of October, and we're going to bring you on another of our video audio described walks. This time we're around Roddlesworth woodland, Tockholes woodland and Roddlesworth reservoirs. We've just crossed over from the car park, which is on Tockholes Road near the Royal Pub, and we're going to go through the woodland and see what we can see, even though it is a very, you might be able to see, it's a very misty, murky morning, but we'll make the most of it. So come along and see what we can find for you today.
From the car park we cross over Tockholes Road and head on a footpath through a gate with a gravel track that heads into the woodland. It's a quite misty day and wet. You may hear the rain on the trees. As we head into the woodland, you start to see all the wonderful autumn colours. There's brown leaves on the path, greens, oranges, browns, reds, all the autumn colours in the trees. The video showing loads of brown, reddy brown leaves on the footpath, and views of the dark tree trunks lining the path. The view of a small stream cutting across the path because of all the water. And back along the path, it continues through the woodland.
The woodland is mostly deciduous, and it's worth looking out for trees including rowan, birch and oak. You may even see jays and woodpeckers if you are lucky. There have also been sightings of kingfishers and dippers on the stream leading from the reservoirs.
People walking down the path away from the camera. Path leads slightly downhill and towards the right. And there's another little stream breaking away to the left. You can hear the babble of the water in the brook.
The great tit. This is the largest UK tit. It is a green and yellow colour with a striking black head with white cheeks. It is a woodland bird which has readily adapted to man-made habitats to become a familiar garden visitor. The great tit is a smallish bird measuring around 14 centimetres.
So we follow the path as it heads back into the woodland. You might be able to hear a jay.
The jay is a member of the crow family and is quite a colourful mid-sized bird, measuring around 35 centimetres. Its body is a pinkish fawn colour with bright blue flashes on its wings and a black moustache on its face. They are often heard screeching in woodlands and have a habit of collecting and burying acorns where they will later dig them up for food.
So we'll keep following the path as it crosses a stream. Camera shows me now striding across the stream as I carry on walking the other side. As you carry on following the path, the little stream runs along the right hand side. Again, the trees are full of autumn colours. Now two people walking towards us. The camera shows a shot of a tree stump that is full of coins that have been hammered into it. When the path comes to a junction, you can either turn left or right. We take the right hand path and keep following the main path to the right. At this junction there's another babbling stream. Again, this time of year, with the day that we had, there was plenty of water in all the streams. So leaving the stream behind as we carry on following the path deeper into the woodland. The path now opens up a bit into another clearing, and you've got the colours of the trees in the distance through the mist, and the bracken is showing a browny colour at the sides of the path as well. Over to the left there's some newish trees that have been planted, and they're protected by a tube around the trunk to protect them from deer and other animals. The path then leads back into the woodland again. There's another stream that's flowing under a big fallen log that's covered in moss. The camera pans up to reveal a view of the woodland and all the coloured trees. We're now following the path past a fence on your right hand side, and we just keep following the main path. There's leaves falling. When we come to a fork in the path, we want to take the right hand side, where there is another, which leads down to another little stream that flows underneath the path. On the other side you get a little waterfall coming out of a pipe that's leading from underneath the path. The water's cascading down. Nice view through the woods. You can see Upper Roddlesworth Reservoir through the trees, where there's lots of reddy browns, yellows, pale greens, golden colours of autumn. Despite being wet, rainy and quite misty in places, the colours were still amazing. Really nice time of year to come and visit. Keep following the path as it heads slightly uphill, and you come to another small little waterfall on the right hand side. And the sound of the water and the birds singing nearby. Back on the main path we carry on, again with more views of the lovely autumn colours.
Are you going to get me that or not?
Hopefully.
Following the path, there's now a turning on your left hand side, so the main path goes to the right. We take the one on the left, again, which is a nice well made path, and this leads downhill. Keep following the path, it then comes to a fence and towards the dam wall at the end of Upper Roddlesworth Reservoir. Come out of the woodland and you get a view out over the reservoir. Then take a path down to your left, down some steep steps, so if you come here be very careful coming down, they are quite steep. And we follow the path that leads towards the bottom of the dam. Along a side trail that leads off to the woods on the right hand side. Take that for a short distance and you'll come across the overspill weirs which lead from, take the water down from the upper reservoir down to the top. Now showing two of the weirs moving down, so it's like a cascade of water. The autumn colours on the far bank and the white of the water coming down. Now showing a view of the big earth bank from the dam, the bottom of the dam wall, which is a big earth clay dam.
Construction on Upper Roddlesworth Reservoir was completed in 1865 and the earth dam is 1,190 feet long and 69 feet above the original ground level.
Views looking back up towards the top of the dam wall, which just looks like a big steep grass slope, trees at the bottom and a dry stone wall. There's a path to your right which goes over a bridge, a little footbridge, takes you across the weirs that spill down from the upper reservoir. We're now stood in the middle of the bridge looking up at the water cascading down. View of the top of a dry stone wall and the autumn close behind. At the bottom of the dam wall there's a stone tunnel with some cast iron pipes leading through to the bottom of the dam, which takes water from the top dam down to the bottom. Carry on following the path, and that leads us back into some more woodland on the other side of the reservoir. Again, more beautiful autumn colours. We follow the path until we come to a crossroads in the path where we take the left-hand path. Which leads to a dry stone wall, and on the other side of the dry stone wall there's a grassy field and the woodland on the left-hand side of the wall. We carry on following the path along the wall until we come to, on the left hand side there's an old building, an old stone building at the side of the dam wall.
The reservoirs at Ratebrook and Lower Roddlesworth were linked to Anglesark, Upper Rivington and Lower Rivington by an open channel 3.75 miles long called the Goit, which passes through Brinskull and White Coppice, and were used to hold water for the supply of drinking water for Liverpool.
Got views over Upper Roddlesworth Reservoir, looking across to the far side where we've just walked round, and a view across the dam. So we carry on following the path, we come to a gate, we go through the gate, and then we're back into the woodland again. And the camera's just showing some more views across the reservoir, looking back towards the dam wall.
The coal tit. Not as colourful as the blue or great tits, the coal tit has a distinctive grey back, black cap and white patch on the back of its neck. Its smaller, more slender beak than blue or great tits means it can feed more successfully in conifers. A regular visitor to most feeders, they will take and store food for eating later. In winter they join with other tits to form flocks which roam through woodlands and gardens in search of food such as insects, nuts and seeds. This is a small bird measuring around 11.5 centimetres.
Keep following the path, it leads out into a more open area of woodland. We keep following the main path until we come to a fork in the path where you can go either left or right. And for this walk we take the right hand track leading slightly uphill. Following this path, which is more open than the majority of the other parts of the walk. You've got the trees on both sides, but it's a lot more open than the rest of the walk. Again, we've got the lovely autumn colours. Come out of the woodland and go through a gate. Once through the gate, we follow the main path round to your left. Again, you can see the raindrops falling onto the camera lens. Follow this path until it opens out. There's a bridge on your left hand side, and in front of you there's a river with some waterfalls. So we go over the bridge and there's a path leading to your left through a gate, and there's some steps straight ahead. We take the steps going up, which is a little more tricky. If you want to make the walk a little bit easier, keep on the main path and go through the gate to the left. The path leading up the steps is a nice path leading through the woodland, but it is a more tricky route with tree roots and quite boggy areas in places. So if you wanted to miss this little bit out, go through the gate and follow the main path round, and then take the path on your right hand side, which is the main path that we came on at the beginning of the walk. But if you do come up the steps, be careful, there are quite a lot of tree roots. It can be quite slippy in places. So once through this bit, you end up on the main track that we walked on before, when we started at the beginning of the walk and we crossed over the stream that was crossing the path. We crossed back over that and retrace our steps back towards the car park and the visitor centre.
Okay guys, that's just a walk round Tockholes plantation and the Upper Roddlesworth Reservoir. We've shown you all the lovely autumn colours. Fantastic place to be at this time of year. The path is a good solid path all the way around. We've shown you some of the little waterfalls, the spillway coming from the upper reservoir leading down to the lower reservoir, and all the woodland in between. Unfortunately, we've not been able to capture much bird life today or anything like that, or any squirrels. I think that's mainly because of the weather, but we've definitely captured the colours of autumn, and it's this part of the woodland, it looks like it's autumn in full force at the moment. So if you fancy coming, we can come round here again once the lockdown is lifted, or if you want to know more about the walk, just give me a call. The number is 01772 744 148. If you want to come with with a family member in the meantime, or a friend, then give me a shout and I'll tell you how to get here. But the car park is on Tockholes Road. It's the Roddlesworth Visitor Centre, and it's near the Royal Pub on Tockholes Road. So thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye.
Galloway's support through sight loss.